If you believe in what you serve, let time be your testimony. This is the phrase that popped into my mind when I was sitting here thinking, how long is it going to take for me to be able to create work that can be both my livelihood and my purpose, that I feel good about, that I have a degree of confidence in, that I feel is of value and benefit. How long till I can shape my life to support that and to open to what that brings with it. Yeah, and yeah, it's basically a fancy way of saying it takes as long as it takes, and if you believe in what you're doing, you have to keep going. And yeah, that's, I was just listening to Alex Ramosi talking about how long he was doing stuff. It didn't add up until it added up, and his thing is get out and do it. Just keep doing it. And I have been, and it's nice. I like listening to people who kind of like, from a more successful position, say this is the way to do it, and it lines up with the crazy way I came about doing it. I listen to people and I follow their advice and I apply it, and I make it work for me. But a lot of the time I have what I think of my own crazy ideas. I go to implement them, I start having questions and challenges, and I go and I find people's work that really supports the same line of thinking. And I'm so encouraged when I see they're very successful at what they do. They're way ahead of me, but I'm like, they were also not always in such a good position. It was a lot of toiling for free and just showing up and doing it as if everybody's watching every time, which maybe I need to step up my game a little for. But yeah, to show up and just do the thing as if everybody's watching. And I know that the stories I refer to are exceptional. I get that. That's part of what makes them fascinating and compelling. But they're also true. Like, somebody had to go do that to have that experience, to tell that story, to get those ideas into my thinking, right? So it's not like make believe. It's that people do this, and what's really encouraging me is hearing it from a number of different sources. I feel like I must be tuned in on the right frequency or whatever, because I keep hearing this from different people who are like, I did nothing, no success. I hear it all the time. Like, people are like, I just did the crazy thing. You have to be insane. Oh, what's that guy? People have very mixed or polar emotions. Gary Vee. I know people love him or they hate him or whatever. I don't know him. But he said something similar about, like, I was just doing this thing for the longest time. Nobody noticed. And then, I blew up and people thought, like, that expression of me was, like, the thing. Like, it was something about business and wine, and I didn't really follow. But his point was, like, you've been doing stuff in the background. Who was asked how it felt to become suddenly successful? And they're like, what do you mean suddenly? Been doing this for a minute. And, like, what's the common theme? People were toiling in anonymity, doing work for free, just putting it out there, just sticking to what it was they were trying to mine out and refine, and just to stay with it. And that then it catches and it's the thing. So maybe I follow the really successful guys who are living. I mean, I don't want Alex Hormozzi's life, honestly. I don't want to be running multiple companies. It's not my calling. Although I probably would end up running multiple companies if I had the opportunity. I know me, I love starting things. I love having a lot of plates spinning, so maybe it wouldn't be a bad life, but it's not what I'm aspiring to right now. Now, Chris Williamson's life, maybe. He worked himself into a sweet position, and he does have something to show for it. He did his thing, and he stuck with it, and he got really good at it, and he's got the guests, and he's got the production, and he's got the tone, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind his life. That seems pretty nice. I know he works, like, I know he's got to work real hard, but I think he loves it, and I think that's the thing. Was that Manson? Was that Hermosi? Was it both of them? I think Mark Manson. Anyway, it was finding that thing. Yeah, it was finding that thing that other people would find like arduous and like tedious and just nah. And like for you, that's a fun thing to do. Like, I think that's how it is for the guys doing this stuff, that they really are figuring out what that is and like throwing themselves into it. And it's like, it's it's full body. It's like they're all in it. There's no reluctance. There's no hedging their bets. I mean, I'm sure they have contingencies. They're intelligent, thoughtful people who would have contingencies. But I mean, there's no emotionally, spiritually. There's just like all in. And it shows. And I think that's part of my fascination with what happens when you do go all in, especially with people, because there's a whole nother I was gonna say dimension. There's a whole nother realm of dimensions when you're trying to go all in with people. You're really trying to get to know people and what their situations are, and know their character, and know how they'll react with you, and build relationships, and like put like maybe a little more at stake as you go on, and find where the boundaries are, where the limits are, and being all in on that with people. It's been really powerful for me. I love feeling like I'm willing to get heartbroken by like caring about people. I'm like, okay, it's better than living without care. I have to care about and be cared for and be human. Let's not pretend. I know I felt not like a human for a very long time, so I know this is pathetically fundamental for people who haven't had particular struggles in their lives. But for those of us who have, yeah, I sometimes have to just remind myself, like, yeah, because you're a human. You get tired, you get frustrated, you get heartbroken, you do all these things, but you love and you need love. You have so much to give and so much ability to receive, and if you keep those lines open and alive, like, you'll be able to carry that charge and put that into everything else you're passionate about, everything else you want to bring into the world.